all the.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Sorry.
Good evening. We're going to call this meeting of the Joint Health and Human Services Committee and Community Development Committee call to order. My name is Eli Sabin. I represent Ward 7 of the Board of Alders, and I'm the chair of the Health and Human Services Committee. And I have my co-chair. Introduce yourself.
I'm Alder Carmen Rodriguez. I am the vice chair for community development. I'll continue on this.
Correction, she's our new chair of community development. Alder Frank Douglas, vice chair, community development, Ward 2.
Before we keep going with introductions, I'm going to read the back to it. Board of Alders, New Haven notice. The Joint Community Development Health and Human Services Committee will meet in person on Thursday, April 25th, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. in the Board of Alders Chamber, 165 Church Street, New Haven, to hear from the city, department, and agencies with hardware concerning M1-2024-0293 or knowledge of the city of New Haven. Annual extending of expertise and use of community development block grant, TBG, home investment partnership, housing opportunities for persons with needs, and emergency solutions grants funds to be submitted to the Department of Housing and Urban Development for federal financial assistance for planning and community development activities under the provisions of Type 1 of the Housing and Community Development Act 1974 as amended, Gonzalez National Affordable Housing Act 1990 as amended, the McKinney-Vento Homeless Act 2000 as amended, Homeless Emergency Assistance for Rapid Transition Housing Act of 2009 and the AIDS and Housing Opportunity Act, hereafter referred to as Housing Development Program, and activities to be funded by programming and/or reprogramming funds from prior years. This item is on file and available for public inspection. The Office of Legislative Services, 165 Church Street, for order Honorable Carmen Rodriguez and Honorable Eli Sabin, co-chairs. Next, Honorable Mike Smart, City Clerk. If you need an accessibility related accommodation, contact 396-7651 or 203-946-8582. In accordance with the City of New Haven Code guidelines, masks are optional. Public may send comments to public testimony at We'll now resume our introductions.
Alder, Ward 5.
Ward 2, Alder Douglas. Brian Wingate, Alder, Ward 9. Community development.
Sal Nicola, Ward 18.
Tiana Flores, Ward 1.
Representative 15, Fairhaven Community.
Sarah Miller, Ward 14.
Thank you, colleagues. We will start with a presentation from the city staff. If you could give us your names and addresses for the record, please.
Sure. Ron Gizzi, 219 Rainbow Terrace, Hamden.
Allison Harrington, 932 Dunbar Hill Road.
Okay, so the year of the South Plan process. So I have a printout for everyone to go through. This will be basically the same introduction that we've done in the past. See a few new faces here, but mostly folders who have the process before. So the consolidated plan process was started in 1995, and that combined CDBG, ESG, home, and HOPWA grants. CARES Act was also part of that. So the consolidated plan requires a 5-year plan, and then within each year we have an annual action plan. So this is the last year of the 5-year plan. So then we'll start new 5-year plan. So within that annual action plan, we have a CAPER, which are the reporting of accomplishments for the previous year, and that's due September 28th. That's filed every year. And again, this is the last year of our 5-25. So some of the CPG eligible categories, you have a list there. Acquisition, disposition of public facilities, demolition, public service, and quite a few. Within those, there are subcategories as well.
So for housing opportunities for people or days for our capital program, we have case management, admin costs up to 7%, office space rental for admin services only, supportive services, street outreach, office space rental for direct support services, based rental assistance for TRA, short-term rent, mortgage and utility allowance, STMU, or permanent housing placement, PH. There's a lot of acronyms. Emergency solutions grants or ESG virtual activities, we have case management, operations and costs for shelter, admin up to 7.5%, office space admin services only, emergency shelter, supporting services, street outreach, and home prevention and rapid rehousing. For home activities, we have housing development, construction, admin up to 10%, down payment assistance, supportive services, street outreach, and homeless prevention, rapid rehousing assistance. Proposal must meet the one of 3 national objective benefits, which is moderate income persons or households, elimination of smoking blight, and urgent needs such as natural disasters. Nonprofit agencies and departments must demonstrate measurable outcomes and beneficiaries. Individual activities must benefit at least 50% below moderate income persons, but not less than 70% overall during the period.
So again, we're working on the last year of the 5-year plan. We do not have final allocations yet. We do have the overall budget, which is pretty much level, but we don't have the formula allocation. We're hoping to have those in the next few weeks. And so with this schedule, the full board will approve the plan on June 3rd. Public comment period is open right now. The mayor's proposal is out on the city's website. So as soon as the full board will put everything together and submit it early June, or start on July 1st. So some of the things that in management budget, we receive all the applications. So we'll take a look at all the applications, do a completeness check, an eligibility check, look at and supporting documentation. Complete that check and put together a spreadsheet, which is included in the book. And then we'll meet with the coordinators and the administration, and then the mayor will submit his recommendations. So that's what we have there. We did have a few applications that were rejected this year. One application was duplicative of the previous year. The other ones were, I think they were incomplete, but they submitted requests on the wrong documents. Someone was requesting economic development funds, but it was a public service application. And personnel request under public improvement, and then personnel request under housing application. And then we do have a funding section on the bottom. And then it's also involved with some of the rules for making amendments. And again, it's a little complicated, so if you do have questions, you can ask us.
So hardware funds may not be revised for service for planning and admin. But public service and admin funds may be revised to hardware activities. Public service funds may not be revised to make admin. Planning and admin funds may not be revised to public service activities. Amendments to public service activities must stay within the public service category. Amendments to planning and admin activities must stay in the same category. All amendments must be dispersed, and just be aware of timeliness for expenditures of funds, regulations, and merely unspent public service funds and admin will only be used for hardware activities in the following year. Hardware funds may not be made. That's a lot.
But again, we'll just consider the question with the chairs to make sure everybody's on track.
So essentially, public service, if it's not spent, will not roll over to public service the following year. It will. That's the long and short.
Okay, and then we have the schedule there and then the full budget. And then the other part is next meeting is May 15th, which is nonprofit testimony. So in between there, the co-chairs will have to determine the deadline for amendments. Okay, then I believe that's page 5. The funding comparison, and again, we're anticipating level funding. I hope we are at that level. We did receive a decrease from 2023 to 2024, a couple $100,000. So that was not expected. And then just some of the public notification process that's part of the consolidated plan is participation. And then again, timeliness, it's been an issue the past couple of years because of COVID and just the supply chain issues. This year we're going to be, we'll need that. Okay, so last page is just the talking about application. So I'll go to the book now. And again, I'm not going to go through every single page here, but this is some analysis. This is some website analysis, schedule. We have an extensive email list. The Zoom meeting tab, the Zoom meeting notifications are included. I did send out a few reminders. I didn't include all the reminders, but we did send out quite a few reminders. And the completeness check is there. The alphabetical listing of activities is also there. So that's basically what we'll be using tonight, starting on page 79. There you can see the estimated allocations that we have. Next page 80 is the reprogramming. And as with the reprogramming public service, admin funds can't be carried next year to use for anything again because of the cap. So those are always reprogrammed into hardware. And then starting on page 81 is the analysis, the amount requested, total project cost, the proposed number of units or households or people that are being assisted in the mayor's proposed description of the project, and the last column is what the alders approved last year. Page 103, and then there's a few different analysis pages there that alders have requested in the past. We included again here. Then there's also on page 108 is a breakdown by area for each activity. And then on page 112 is our current 5-year goals and objectives. And then the last section is our citizen participation plan. So this will be updating this again.
Lincoln?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Co-Chair. How you doing, Mr. Gizzy? For the new orders, right?
Yes.
Right. This could be right? And you feel smooth, right? Right? But step back, right? Let's go from our mayor proposal, what they received, what the order gave from last year. Because we're gonna have to mirror that again this year
Yes.
in reference to amendments or what have you. So it would be very helpful if we could take a step back, just look at that process one more time.
All right, so if we go back to, we can just go back to. So this spreadsheet, I have it separated. The first section is CDBG hardware. And you see that it's a little bit small, but you can see that on the heading there. It's the CDBG hardware. So those are going to be acquisition projects. They're going to be housing projects, economic development projects. And then you can see the first column is the name. Okay, then the second column is what was requested. Third column is personnel and program delivery that's been requested. And then the city positions. And the total project cost is next. And then we included leverage funding because that's important too. We don't try not to fully fund a project. We like to have leverage funding. And then the next column is the number of people or households proposed. And again, if someone's requesting $100,000 and they don't get that $100,000, we'll send out an update for the performance indicators because we're not going to expect them to perform at that same level with a 10%. The next column is actually what the mayor proposed and a description of the project. And then the last column is what the authors approved for the current year, for 23-24. Okay.
Thank you. And one more time. The ones that wasn't awarded to be on CBG, I don't want to stick them out publicly, but if you can send that to the chair, that would be great.
Agencies that work on it?
Yes.
Those are included.
No, I apologize.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Paperwork or
Yep.
whatever. But to the chair, it would be appreciated if you can see that.
Yes.
Yes.
Agreed. Thank you.
Okay. So any questions on the book?
Any questions from colleagues? Thank you for the explanation.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Thank you, Chief.
So the next part, if it's okay, I'd like to talk about the admin applications. So we do have staff that's paid from this grant. So there are 3 CDBG applications. One is in management, budget, and finance. Staff there. We have a person in city planning, and then we have also staff in CSA. There's one here. Also CSA, and that's one between 3 funding sources, and then there's one home admin position. So all these admin positions, it's covering the cost of LCF, community services, city plan, MNB, and finance. So those positions, what they're doing is preparing the annual action plan, indicators, providing administrative support to city departments, nonprofits. There's a environmental review component of this too that's done in city plan. So they do environmental assessments, clearing all the projects, and that's part of the submitting that for the release of funds and the authorization to use grant funds. There are a lot of steps to take before HUD actually students. And they're also reviewing the documents for historic significance. And when they say historic, it's any property that's 50 years or 40 years considered historic. So everyone's properties from the 70s now that they're not just the late 1800s, early 1900s. So it gets to be a lot. Other staff, they're managing the application process, oversight and compliance with federal regulations, programmatic and financial audits, processing payments, executing agreements, reviewing all that documentation, working out of compliance. Then we do have some non-personnel items. We have some advertising, we have printing. We do have a consultant that we're hiring, again, 5-year plan. It's very helpful to have that person. And the last thing is the city will not be able to meet all the requirements without these positions. So that's it for the management budget appropriation.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please.
Just to contact our colleagues, the last note that Mr. Gizzi was writing us about admin applications on page 100 under planning and administration. You can see the description of the funding for city staff.
We're going to ask our first presenter to come up. It's going to be Ms. Baer from Towers Foundation. Hello. As you take a seat, once you're comfortable, if you can give us your name and address for the record, and I do not believe you are Miss Jennifer Baer.
I am not, actually, so I'm very perceptive. So, Gus Keach-Longo, I'm the CEO at Tower Lane, and unfortunately, Jen is with her mom right now. I'm coming in, so very good chance I'm going to be able to answer your questions about China. My address is 11 Highwood Road in India.
Thank you. Okay. Let's proceed with your presentation.
Thank you. So we are made up of Tower 1 and Tower East. We are over 50 years old. We have a air handler in our Tower East side of our building that is not functioning. So there's causing issues in our building because it's put. The handler helps circulate the air, especially in the cooler weather. It also helps keep the hallway air. So we are hoping to receive some funds to be able to help us replace that air handler. We found out that if we repair it, it costs almost 50% or so of the actual cost. So we were requesting some funds to be able to do that. The project is about $53,000, and we were requesting about $44,000.
Thank you. Any questions from members of the committee on business? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Can you just give me a synopsis again of the cost?
So I received this information a little while ago because Jen's not with me. So the total project cost is about $63,000. The request was $44,000, and we are figure out how to make up the difference between those. I think that we were listed for about $20,000.
So this is for a new unit?
So we replace the unit altogether because
rather than repair the old.
Right, because it's about 15 years old and it's almost the cost. It's about 50% of the cost of replacing it. You know, it's not going to. We're going to buy
And how old is that unit?
It's about 15 years old from what I can tell.
And life expectancy is what, 15
I
years?
think it hovers around 15 years. We know that if we repair it, it may get us a few more years.
Just maintain. Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's all I have.
Thank you all.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. How many folks does this air handler provide air circulation to keep everyone?
My understanding is it's a third of the building. So the math on that, I think, is about 55.
Thank you for that information.
Don't check them out.
Thank you.
Alderman Hente.
That's 35, 40 people seniors.
Yes, sir, seniors.
Any other questions? Alder Singh?
Thank you, Madam Chair. How many air handlers in this building?
Great. So there's three air handlers, and so that's why I'm estimating about a third of the building.
So your proposal is to replace one?
Yes, because the other two are functioning.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alder Singh. Any?
One quick question. So it looks like the Tower Foundation did not receive any funding before last year. Do you know if there was an application?
I don't think there, I could be wrong, but I don't think there was.
Thank you.
Yes, Chair. So, is there any other available funds that you're going after from someplace else?
I actually, Jen is the one who's helping us put that together. So, we're asked of about 44, and I think we were listed, if I'm not mistaken, for about 20. We have to figure out the gap, so we will be going for some kind of funding, but I don't have the answer to it. It's okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, Chair. Thank
And we can communicate with your team as well.
Jen knows way more than I do.
Okay. So perhaps if she has information, we can send to her. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. No, thank you so much for your presentation.
Thanks, Howard. Thank you.
Thank you.
you very much. Thank you, sir.
Next presenter is Dr. Jessica Bruce, internal. Jessica.
Just want to acknowledge Ron when you're on the page.
It's okay. What page are you looking at for this?
Okay, that is on 3.
Thank you for seeing me.
33.
All right, everybody, 3 minutes.
Your name and address for the record?
So it's Jessica Bruce. I live at 29 Boca Road, but I'm here for Scott.
Thank you.
So today I'm looking to pretty much for your contribution to the dental chairs. At this moment, we have 6 new dental chairs, which has been a tremendous for our patient population, and they're wonderful. They're working. They were installed in March, but we're looking to funding for 5. Sorry. I don't think it was 36,000. For that would be 2 additional dental chairs. And we're gonna do the 2 other ones. I think the 3 other ones. So 5 in total. Sorry, I'm not very good post.
No problem. Sorry, so you're asking for funding for 2 additional dental chairs.
$36,000.
And the community foundation is funding.
No, we're doing 2 and then 2. We're funding our own chairs too.
Okay.
It's the same as last year's.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from committee members?
I have a question. So last year you were funded for 6 chairs, correct? So you have 6 chairs up and running. And this year you'd like to add?
We have 11 in total. We still have 5 older chairs.
Okay.
that tend to break down. You know, unfortunately, we don't have the capacity then to see the patient broken or they're.
Thank you for that clarification. That's where I was going with that. So thank you for answering that quickly. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Anyone else with questions?
Thank you so much. I have just one quick question. Does that mean one dental chair costs?
And I'll be honest, I went to 4 distributors to find the best price. I don't take this lightly. I'm very, I'm understanding of how much things cost, and that's one thing I'm very respectful of. So I literally depend on the case one another. But yeah, and they're a very good share that hopefully will not have to waste in the lifespan of the chair is about 5 to 10 years. So hoping to realize for more than that.
What do we get?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Any other questions for committee? All Douglas?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Madam Chair. So what's the turnover now compared to last?
Well, you mean the chair is breaking down?
No,
or
no,
having
no,
issues?
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
The people receiving service.
So the turnover, so right now we're able to see more patients, we're able to get patients in the door because we've had to cancel patients because the chairs haven't worked in the past. And I have to be honest, like I said, since March, we haven't had to do that because we can use the new chairs or so we picked the worst chairs to replace, the ones that were giving us the most trouble.
So the number of patients has, that's what.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just want to notice, just quickly, if you don't receive funding from the city for this initiative, other sources of funding that you're able to pursue?
I don't think so, from what I understand. And they did ask, I don't like that, but they did say that they're waiting for, I think, $11,000 from the other part. To ask.
That's $11,000 from last year or?
Yes, the last.
Any other questions? No more questions? Thank you so much for your
Thank you.
presentation.
Thank you for helping us treat patients and taking care of our population. Well, I'm calling this my population. It's mine now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks, you too. Questions?
Thank you. Our next presenter is Ms.
Thank you for allowing us to share our story. My name is Lori McLean. I'm in development for Marrakesh, and I live at 1042 Broad Street in Bridgeport. We requested funds for a porch renovation at one of our multi-unit buildings. For those of you who might not be familiar, Marrakesh has been in the human services field in Connecticut for the past 50 years. Volunteering in the program in 1971, we've been connecting individuals with disabilities and similar services to services that give them an opportunity to exercise their human rights as citizens and contributing members of society. Residential employment support, referral, or advocacy services, Marrakesh staff are equipped with the expertise, dedication, and heart to assist individuals as they strive to achieve greater self-sufficiency and experience the best quality of life. As you may know, we do a lot of different services in the community. In addition to all these services like homelessness and addiction that we help, youth at risk, career training for unemployed individuals, arts programming, and affordable housing. We have six group homes, 2 transitional living residential sites, independent living residences, and 2 multi-unit housing units. This grant, we are seeking funds from the Get a Porch on a 3-unit building that houses 5 individuals with disabilities who receive services from Marrakesh. The current front porch on the house has succumbed to the effects of time of creating potential safety people there and the staff who work there every day, as well as visitors and others. To address this, the existing 4-porch pillar stairs removed and replaced. Our main effort is to maintain safety of the property for residents and visitors and reduce the injury. The upgrade to sustainable materials would allow renovation to stand the test of time and reduce the need for significant ongoing repair. And for residents, the renovation would improve appearance and eliminate a potential change.
Any questions? Ready?
Oh, wow, I got off.
Just 1 second.
We don't know yet. Now we're getting the money yet.
Just 1 second. I'm wondering if you don't receive funding from the city, what do you have other possibilities for?
Always exploring options for support. We, as you may know, have ongoing fundraisers that we do annually, and it's part of my job, writing grants. So if this doesn't happen, we don't have anything now, but yes, we would be seeking to find it, because as it is suggested by the assessment, we could really support. So we have to do something. So this will help us, and we appreciate all the help you've given us. We've been very supportive of the organization, and we, as you know, we appreciate it.
Alder Douglas?
Have you sought a contractor yet?
We always get a estimate for the scope of work, and then we are required as an organization to get 3 bids to get the best pricing, and obviously best, and then we follow the Davis guidelines.
That's all right.
Mr. Chair. I see you, last year you received 13,000. Is this for the same property address request this year?
For the bathroom? Yes.
Okay, all right.
So
Thank you.
the 13,000 last year for our bathroom at the same.
Thank you so much.
Pretty old.
Thank you for that clarification.
That's okay.
Thank
Very
you.
good. Very good.
Any other questions from committee members?
I think we're all set.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy your evening.
You're welcome. Ms. Garcia, Anna Garcia, from Our Kids.
How are you? Hi, how are
Name
you?
and address for the record once you get comfortable.
My name is Anna Garcia, 20 Barton Drive, North Haven. I guess that?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
So I'm Anna Garcia. I'm the Director of Programs from Our Kids Family Center. Randy apologized. I'm Executive Director because she's sick this week. She couldn't come with me. Our kids have been in New Haven since 1996. Founded by former elder Sergio Rodriguez and Randy Rubin Rodriguez. We have served over 8,000 children and their families. Most of our clients are children from the Department of Children and Families. We just recently had an expansion, and one part that we really would like to have for our children's programs is an area where they can exercise, do yoga, dance, anything that they can decompress during the day. We serve our children that have been moved in homes, that trauma, and our kids is a safe place for them to be. Our after school program is just not after school, is a wraparound service that we serve the whole triad in the family. We have other programs. We have the whole continuity of care from supervised visitation to verification services. We do adoptions, we do permanent institution services for children that are in care. We have a resilience that is another program. It's the one and only, probably nationally, where we do provide services for the children 0 to 3 and the parents that are in the process of rehabilitation and working on getting their children back. And we have a good pantry. Sure, you guys have it.
Before we take questions, I want to acknowledge Majority Leader Carlo, who's joined us, and also our Any questions from members of the committee? I'll just ask again, if you don't receive funding from the CDBG process, do you have other ways of potentially financing this project?
So one thing that I forgot to acknowledge is that we recently had in-kind estimate, and it was a lot more than we expected. And it was 89,000, I believe, for the whole project. We don't have currently that amount, but will be seeking, from foundations, from our funders and supporters.
So listed on here, it says that the total project cost is 46,000. The actual total project.
If we want the whole thing as we want, it's 89,000.
Thank you. And then I'm also stating on here that last year you received $20,000. Do you remember what that was for?
So we received for the lighting side of our building, because unfortunately it was pretty dark and no safe for work all the way to 8 o'clock.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next presenter is Alden Woodcock from Emerge, Connecticut.
Once. Twice.
Alden Woodcock again from Emerge.
No shot. Keep it moving.
At this time, those are all our presenters.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak? I know we may have spoken to the city. Yes. LCI and economic development staff could come forward this time.
Good evening.
Good evening.
You're going to get together?
That's the whole team.
And 2 are from economic development.
Well, so at this time, before we'd like to move for everyone at the table, if we can have an address for the record, please. Thank you.
Carlos Izaguirre, 244 McKinley Avenue.
Kathy Schroeder, Deputy Director, LCI, Administrative Services, 1704 Road, Connecticut.
Will Snyder, Small Contractor Development Manager, 220 Griffin Pond Road, Branford, Connecticut.
Kathy Graves, Deputy Director, Economic Development, Small Business, 257 Stevenson Road, Connecticut.
Thank you.
Very good. And excuse me, I'll just do this. What page are we on?
I think they.
I don't have too much to say, but I did think just as a preamble, Carlos is here, from McKinley Avenue. Just as a preamble, this is a small part of the overall budget, but a really important part of the budget that funds a lot of our programs for our residents, as well as a lot of programmatic work when it comes to the a lot of personnel and programmatic work when it comes to like department heads on why this funding is needed.
Thank you.
Which page?
Mr. Yuzzi, page 81, right?
I'll start at page 81. Left column, last box, left-hand column. Once again, my focus is small business resource center, and I appreciate the ongoing support since I've been with the city, and I'm going to provide you with an update of where we are year to date through March 31, 2024. To date, through March 31, we've served 231 clients, retained 97 jobs, and 74 jobs were created. Those are with new and existing clients. About 70% of the clients that come through us are low or extremely low in terms of economic area. We have about 30% of them on their income. We are working with people that wake up with that idea in the morning that they want to start a business, and we help them start a business, grow their business, and those that are in business sustain their business. We provide them with technical assistance, access to capital, additional resources, so that any of their needs can be met, and we can keep them in business. So that's very important to us. So DNA of an Entrepreneur is one of our major programs that teaches a person how to run a business properly. We have so many people that come in that wake up in the morning and start a business, but not know how to run a business. And it's important to us that we help them know how to run a business and to stay in business. Back office support, taxes, etc. Not that we do taxes, but that are knowledgeable about what to expect in running a business. So through March 31, as I mentioned, we have served 207 people in the New Haven area. And this is walk-ins, return customers, and every year, as you're aware, we have a village. This past December, we had 19 vendors, and they look forward to this. These are people that run their businesses out of homes, and this allows them to have foot traffic. So it's very forward to them. So it's very important that we do that. We continue our program with Goldman Sachs, like an MBA program where your case study is your business. So it's all consulting, and you're always part of the Goldman Sachs family. We partnered with last year with the Community Foundation, Mission Investment Corporation. So they were able to get a grant from DECD for $7.2 million. City, through the ARPA funds, donated 1.5 to those support organizations that provide technical support in the city. So through that program, we've been able to fund $566,000 in grants to for-profit businesses, and that's since the inception in January of last year. This year, we have actually given out $324,000, and that's January to March 31. So we continue to work this program, meet new businesses that had come in today, and she didn't even know that we had all of the resources available to them to her as a small business. So supporting this is very important to small businesses. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Grace.
Thank you. Maybe you're going to speak about a different topic. Maybe we'll have questions on the small business support program first. If there are any questions from members of the committee.
Thank you for the information. I'm wondering, it says that for these dollars fund a business counselor and a bilingual outreach coordinator. Are those staff positions we already have, or they're new staff?
No, they've been consistent since I've been here, since 2017.
I know recently, we got the flyer translated into Spanish. I'm wondering if you're talking about what the outreach looks like other than the flyer. I hear from a lot of our monolingual Spanish that they don't see a lot of outreach from the city. I'm just wondering what we might do.
Very difficult, because I've tried ever since I've been here, to get the information out. We have our brochure translated to Spanish. We needed that. I dropped off brochures. We've had the NHE agreement to Spanish. Whenever someone comes in our office, we have excuse in the office. So they get everything that everyone else gets. So we translate as much to Spanish. We just talked about having a translator class. We are actually having our DNA class over at Southern Connecticut here at their new school of management, and it's really working out well. So whatever you can do to help me get to the Spanish community, I will.
Okay, sure.
We talked about this.
What is the outreach coordinator? Is that person like going door to door? Or what? That's the piece that seems to be.
I don't have anyone that can go out and walk the streets and go door to door. Lots of word of mouth. We get a lot of traffic from word of mouth. But everything that anyone else gets, everybody gets.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from committee members?
I was going to just ask, it looks like the amount that the mayor proposed to give you is about $17,000 less than this program received last year. Do you have any, what reduction in services would that be for?
I'll just have to do the best I can. Your budget champagne taste.
It looks like most of the funding is going to personnel, and so presumably if there's a cut, that's going to be for potentially the other funding that happens in the program. Is that the grants or?
No, won't affect us at all. One of the things that I've been really lucky with is getting the professional community to volunteer. So our instructors in our program, they are all professionals, and they volunteer. Our business counselor teaches in the program, Southern Connecticut teaches in the program, and I have professionals just in the community that will come and teach the program. So we've been very, very lucky for that to happen, and I'll just go up and try to get more volunteers.
Thank you. Seeing no other questions from colleagues, please proceed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Page 82 at the very top. Our program is the Small Contractor Development Program, which monitors and enforces Chapter 12 and a quarter of the city's code of ordinances. Just as a brief history, for those of you who have not heard about Chapter 12 and a quarter, Chapter 12 and a quarter was created back in 2001 by the alders, realizing after we did an extensive study that local minority contractors were not getting the same opportunity available to them with the construction that was going on in the city. At that point, the school construction mega project was starting, and we wanted to make sure that small minority contractors were going to get an opportunity to bid and work on those projects. We did a study at that point to determine what was the percentage of contractor, MBE is minority contractors and women contractors, were getting work from city construction dollars. Back then, the MBE number was 3%. 3% of the entire construction spend of the city of New Haven
was what minority contractors get. Women-owned contractors were getting 22%. And we realized that there was a disparity. And so the alders realized that we had to do something in law that would mandate that the contractors who were going to bid on city work participated and MBE contractors to be part of the boom that was happening in New England. What we also realized is that the small contractor, and we focus on the small contractor, not the big guys. The big guys don't need our help. It's the small guys. And so we created a sheltered market. And the sheltered market is all the city bids, $150,000 and under, are bid only through small guys. Contractors who are registered in our program, who meet the requirements of the ordinance, of having gross receipts under $3 million, of being located in and that's what was really the impetus of the growth that we saw in our small contractors. We're unique in that respect. We are the only city in the state of Connecticut that has a sheltered market. And of course, nobody likes it. What do you mean the big guys think? Why can't we bid? We want that $25,000 contract. We want that $30,000 contract. And what we say is no. It's for our small contractors. And so the first part of what we do in our office, there's 3 of us, me and 2 others, we monitor the sheltered market program. Because even our own departments, that's such a pain in the neck level. You mean we have to go to small contractors when I know Joe down the street can do the job for me, and he's been doing it all this time. And I'll say no. I monitor that purchasing doesn't let them go through. Every month I do a report on the city spend by department. I'm sort of the regulator, the police officer for the city spend to make sure that our contractors, our small contractors, get a fair share of what we're doing with taxpayer dollars in construction. So, and it's tough because, as I said, nobody really wants to do it. They want to use the same people that they always do. Because, of course, construction is a business of relationships. We know this guy, we've always used him. You want me to do work with somebody I don't know? And I go, yeah, that's what I want you to do. And so last year, our New Haven spend, because it almost worked simultaneously, we encouraged and monitored the MBE participation in the New Haven spend increase. Last year in the construction spend, 53% of New Haven's construction dollars went to New Haven-based businesses, which is fantastic. The MBE number was 13%, which was, and it's a work in progress. And 13%, if you were to look at numbers around the state of Massachusetts, they're around 7-8%. And this is racial MBEs that we talk about.
Yeah.
We don't include Iberian Peninsula, we don't include Island Pacific, it's all MBEs, racial MBEs. And the woman number, of course, consequently went down because that's at 12%. But that's all a nice even ratio of how you want to see our money spent. And so there's 3 parts of us. The first part is that we recruit and help the small contractors go through all the process of all the paperwork that is involved in public procurement. You have to have a SAMS number. You have to be registered with the state. You have to be registered with DOT, on and on and on. And so when they come in, our office assists with all that paperwork so that they understand what it means to be a business. And they understand what it means to work in the public sector because it's so different than the private world. The private world, you can go in and give them a bid, a number, and start the work. And we sometimes get the money up front. That's not how the public world operates. So there's a learning process. And so I'll be quick. I know you're, I can go on and on, so please, if there's a timer, tell me. And I'll end with that. There's three parts to us. It's monitoring the city spend. It's monitoring the LDA spend. Every developer that gets anything from the city have to comply with our regulations. And then assisting and helping the small contractors. So as you can see, I'm very passionate about the program, and I'm very grateful for every cent that possibly comes our way through TVG.
Thank you.
Any questions from members of the committee?
Keep up the good work.
Yes, thank you for all you do. Nope. I'll shut.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. Just a quick question. I think it's really great that you are. Yes, thank you. Thank you. I think it's really great that you all are benchmarking and seeing the data shift over time. When you think about the next upcoming, perhaps with the support of these funds, what's the reference plan? What's your next goal to go from 13% or 12%?
I would love to be able to reach 20%. I mean, our New Haven number is fantastic. I would love to see the MBE number go up to 20%. But that's a lot. It's a lot of work. It's a very ambitious goal, but if we don't have goals, we're getting this. And so that's our goal.
Thank you. Yes,
Thank you.
LCI, there's 4 or 5 applications that LCI puts in annually under CDBG. They are in part of code enforcement, property management, acquisition, and we'll get down there. So on page 81, the first application is LCI acquisition. That comes with our housing development funding. It's how we acquire property. It allows us to also give program delivery to those that use acquisition funding with LCI as a program delivery as we Habitat for Humanity, our down payment closing cost assistance programs. So this year we did, so far this year, we've done 6 applications without payment. We've assisted 5 households and 9 persons were impacted by that funding. And actually, I'm happy to know there's 3 new applications. That is a low income that's picked up since the spring. Because we've been dawdling on security so tight. The other application also on 81 is the LCI property management. And they are our property management people over in Chapel Street. All of your securing of properties, your cleanups. They removed this year in 2023 approximately 29 tons of trash, which is 59,000 pounds trash in the neighborhoods. So it's program delivery for them. That's our program delivery in the CDBG eligible areas. They do all the security, do all our cleanups. They maintain all of the city properties, lawn mowing, shoveling, plowing, whatever needs to be done with those. We move on to page, I guess that's going to 82, which was economic development, main streets, commercial development. That's all program delivery. That is for persons, and they do only facade improvement program and the business planning and what is with 82. It's like the second one down, right below the the leasehold program that's on Main Street.
Neighborhood commercial.
Neighborhood commercial improvements, yes. Move to page 83. Going to public improvements. This is there's a small amount of program delivery because there is project managers that are managing all the public improvement. Capital improvements to facilities. So you heard apartments. I think you also heard facilities here today. So if they don't get funded, they will call me, and this will be used, program dollars will be used to fund something. So if there's New Reach has a leak in a roof of one of their facilities, they'll come to me directly with an application. An HVAC system in their gym. So that is what that application's used for, a little bit of programs. And we move to coding.
Thank you, Chair. If I may, I'm sorry. Yeah. I have a question around the economic development, commercial development. I see here the mayor didn't give any. Am I wrong about that?
No. So there is over, I think, a rollover, correctly, close to $1 million in rollover funding for commercial development.
Okay.
So they felt that they would use the rollover funding to fund that and not take it out of this year's allocation.
Okay. Thank you for clarification.
No problem. I saw that too.
Yeah,
That's how I was prepared.
If you don't know something, you need to ask. Ignorance is bliss.
All right, next one up. 85, which is code enforcement. That is our specialists for housing code.
Just for 1 second. So on the public improvements, I see last year this received $25,000 and the proposal is for $100,000 this year. Is there a specific reason for that increase?
So the 25 is they only gave us program delivery last year. They didn't give us any program because we had a balance last year. COVID didn't hit our line items until last year. Everything was in the works when COVID hit, so we were still moving. It showed up last year, so it slowed down over 22, 23. So we had some rollover. So we left the rollover and just put the programs over there last year. So there was this year there's a program asked. It's like 75,000. All right, code enforcement is at the top of page 85. That covers your housing code and your neighborhood specialist. That is all program delivery costs. Over the past year of 2023, the code enforcement division did a total of 15,552 inspections. There is, and that includes 8,800 of that being residential licensing inspections, 4,850 Section 8 inspections, and 1,865 code inspections. 15,000. The neighborhood specialist had 110 referrals last year, and your property maintenance crew cleaned up 111 or maintained 111 city-owned property. All right, next is residential rehab. That's funds. That's also another direct where they can come to LCI direct, land development, neighborhood housing services. Habitat is not a CHODO, so they access this funding. They do a rehab, they can, not new construction. But if it's a rehab, so there's program dollars, there's program delivery, which is for project managers that manage all of the housing development for the city of New Haven. And we are projected in 24-25 in service, a total of 789 units, 262 of those are housing authority units, 527 are city investment units. And of the 789, 524 are affordable, 18 at 30%, 129 at 50%, 282 at 60%, 95 at 80%, and then 2 home ownership units were completed. One was at 4.5 house. And I think and that was the last one. And the only other statistic I wanted to give you was for security deposit, the ARPA funding. Since that came about, we took in about 517 applications, 282 were completed, 67 more in the pipeline. We impact 305 households, total of 1,055 persons, and that's about $1 million.
Where is that?
Not the same.
Okay.
It's just another part of what we do. And then the marketing of LCI itself and our programs, they did 52 events last year. LCI had 12 pop-up events, and since we've been more active on social media, 64,957 reaches.
Thank you. I have one question. So I know that there's been a proposal to shift some of the work that LCI does in this year's budget, and I was wondering if that proposal affects any of these applications, particularly for the residential rehab development type work. Someone a little bit of does maybe one year.
Yeah, I think I talked a little bit about this with staff today. Yes, that's my question. No, that is not none of that we presented on a couple weeks ago is remaining. So I think looking details we worked out on how to get that based on what the alders, ultimately decide. That is not affecting. The only thing I would say is that is to the point of the code, the fact that we want more inspectors and there's 4,000 inspections just in the heavy rental neighborhoods alone, every year.
Right. I think I'm wondering more about if LCI was no longer doing some of the acquisition and development work. That I think the proposal is to move some of that work out of LCI.
Right.
But we're proposing to give LCI some money to do that type of work.
Well, my understanding is those folks will still be doing that work. Those positions don't go away. They just become moved under.
So if we approve this funding, it would still fund this type of work. Just to
right.
It would not necessarily.
Sure. You're looking at the folks here that are right.
Understood. Thank you. Just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
Any other questions from?
Just a question about the LCI code enforcement proposal, and just about the proposed number of persons per household served to be 2,500. Just how is that number?
Code enforcement? Because of the level of inspection, right? So if they did 15,552 inspections, that's technically 15,552 households. So it's more than actually 2,500. It's a generic number because we never know how many we're going to do here. Could we increase it? Yes, of course. But it's a generic number that we use.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from members of the committee? Seeing none. Mr. is here.
No, I just want to thank you folks for doing this. This is my first time doing CDBG, but I was once funded by this, and LCI is and I think Kat in particular gave you a good example. Really from LCI. but also talking about other. Having a very run down like that. So you see the breadth of their work, and then certainly Lil with a very small staff, and doing those I'll set aside ordinances for minority contractors in the country, things continue to grow. We hear we heard your concerns about outreach. I think we talked about offline. There's some personnel issues that we can't get around there, but I think we will we'll make sure to do what we can, translate or make sure that that's part.
There's one question. I was wondering if there were specialists
It's like 8 or 9. I should know offhand.
9, I think we have one vacancy.
We have 9 positions.
Yeah, and then we have one vacancy. And, that one person was at the other workshop. And it was her, it was her.
I get you the, I'll say, I can get you the exact number.
8 or 9.
Yeah.
10.
We're at 10.
Yeah.
10 districts.
10 policing districts.
Districts. Yeah. I don't know if they're all. I don't know if they all are open or are, I don't know if they all fill. I don't know if anyone's vacant, but I got it.
Good to hear.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Severa, you just mentioned to Alderman, and just for clarification, because I know Ms. Graves gave a lot of great information. Perhaps through your department, you can have some also connect with Kathy and have a very important conversation to get many of our bilingual business owners, because it's 2 different entities, but we should come together to support our communities, the minority businesses. And so if that's a resistance, I'm bilingual, and we could all, we just need to know a little bit more information of what's happening, that there's no connection with it that we have when it comes to the business district.
I know that someone's very active, I've heard that used to be very active here, but I don't think the executive director is spending as much time now down here as before, because we used to have a very good relationship, but I don't think that there are programming staff.
Since Jason brought it up, I just wanted to have that clarified. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Seeing no other questions from members of the committee, I think we are complete with your presentation. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You have all your hard work.
Thank you.
Your homework.
Point of information for staff, we are able to close the public portion of the hearing tonight, but we're having an additional public hearing in a couple of weeks. Thank you. Yes. Do you have anybody else from the public wishing to testify on this item? The second time, do we have anybody else from the public wishing to testify? And the third time, do we have anybody else from the public wishing to testify? Seeing none, do I hear a motion to close the public portion here?
Second.
Here, you're moving second. All in favor of closing the public portion of the meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public portion of the meeting is closed. And I think that we need to act on this tonight, just for the information of the committee members and public as well. The co-chairs will be working together to set a date by which we will ask committee members and other colleagues to request amendments or suggestions for a list of funding allocations, that we will try to get that out to soon. Otherwise, unless already is, thank you all for your participation tonight. And we, I believe, have another meeting on May 15th. and then we will be deliberating shortly after that. And we look forward to working with all of you as we move forward in this process. And thank you very much to staff for all that work.
Sure.
That was
That we adjourn.
Second.
second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Let's start with-
Great job.
We are adjourned.
Great job, great job. Great job.